Welcome back to Bite-sized Builds Nilou edition. I'm going to be going over some of the frequently asked questions that I get for Nilou specifically, mostly being like, what weapon should I use? What are the artifact sets I should go for? What are the main stats, talent priorities, all of the above. Let's get into it. As far as Nilou goes, something that I do want to note is you want to level her all the way to 90. When you have characters that scale off of things like HP, defense, etc., you want to make sure that you level them all the way to 90. Let's go over artifacts. So the most important thing for Nilou, and this makes her extremely easy to build, is that you just want to stash as much HP as you possibly can on her. As far as main stats go for your Nilou, you want to run HP, HP, HP. That means HP Sands, HP Goblet, and an HP Circlet. Now, for your flower and your feather, you want to look for substats. You just want to stash as much HP as you possibly can. Another good substat to run would be energy recharge. I definitely recommend energy recharge. Those are going to be your two priorities and what you're going to go for. Now, thankfully, as of 3.6, we got a new artifact set. And the two piece for that artifact set is a plus 20% HP, and that is the biggest dub that Nilou could have gotten. So personally, I would recommend going 2-piece HP, 2-piece HP as far as the two pieces go. This is going to give you the absolute best HP that you can possibly get for your Nilou. You want to shoot for 70,000 HP. So you might be asking, why 70,000? That seems a little unreasonable. You're probably right. It definitely depends if you have her weapon. That is what's going to help make this achievable. So why, you ask? It's because of her passive, the Dreamy Dance of Eons. So every 1,000 points of Nilou's max HP above 30k will cause the damage dealt by bountiful cores basically to increase, and it goes up by 400%, which caps at 71,000. Now, let's say you're having pretty bad luck in terms of the Tenacity domain or the new domain. What is another two-piece option you could go for? You could go for 2-piece HP, 2-piece Elemental Mastery. That's perfectly fine. 2-piece HP, 2-piece Hydro Damage. It really is going to depend on your substats. We're really looking for that HP main stat to get the most out of the HP percent. In terms of weapons, there's no doubt that Key is going to be best for her. You get a 66.2% HP on this weapon. Of course, HP increased by 20% when an elemental skill hits an opponent. This was obviously made for her. This is her signature weapon. This is going to be her best. What's another option you could go for? I would say the second best option you can go for is going to be Jade Cutter. Jade Cutter gives you HP increase by 20%. So this is going to be your second best option. If you don't have either of the two, more friendly free-to-play options would be Iron Sting. You could go for Cyphos. You could go for any Elemental Mastery weapon that includes Cursed Object Umbrella. That one would be fine. HP weapons, Elemental Mastery weapons, those are going to be your go-to. Now let's talk about talents. What do you want to prioritize? You definitely want to prioritize your skill and your burst. With burst, you're going to notice bigger burst damage. Don't underestimate this. My Nilou has 20% crit rate, 61% crit damage, and I still managed to get very big numbers from her burst. But as far as your main talent, your skill is going to be the most important aspect of your Nilou. That is how you're going to create those bountiful cores. That's how those cores are going to explode on impact. I didn't focus on her normal attacks because typically she's off-field for me. I put her on-field to use her skill, and then I leave off-field. Nihida is typically my on-field driver, or Yao Yao is my on-field driver. Now, let's talk team comps. So Nilou is restrictive, but very strong. She's strong in what she does, which is bountiful cores, blooms. Right? In order to use Nilou effectively, you want to make sure that you're using only Dendro and Hydro in your party. This means that you cannot use any Electro, no Anemo, no Geo. It has to be strictly Dendro and Hydro because that is how you get these bountiful cores to explode. So personally, my favorite team comp to run is Nihida, Xingqiu, Nilou, and Yao Yao. Xingqiu helps a little bit with some of the damage mitigation. His rain swords do heal a little bit. Yao Yao is an absolute tank. She helps me tank a lot of that bloom core damage. She's typically who I'm on fielding using Xingqiu's burst with Nihida's skill up. We mark them with Nihida, Yao Yao's burst. We are creating lots of blooms, but we are not dying because Yao Yao can tank a lot of that damage. So this is personally my favorite team. Other variations I like to run Nihida. I like to run Ayato, Nilou, Yao Yao. You can also put Kokomi in there. If you can figure out one Dendro, you obviously want to run Nihida with Nilou. I feel like the only other Dendro option I would recommend would be Alhaitham. Alhaitham is a really good substitute if you don't have Nihida, for instance. Alhaitham works really well with Nilou. I have cleared Abyss floors with it. It's perfectly fine. However, you just want to make sure that you're utilizing the hydro and the dendro. You can do Nahida plus 3 hydros. That would be Nilou, 2 other hydros. You can do 2 dendros, 2 hydros. I don't recommend doing 3 dendros, 1 hydro, because Nilou's is just not going to be enough hydro to make those blooms appear, right? But typically, healer-wise, you're definitely looking at Yao Yao and Coco or Barbara. I use Barbara a little bit before I have Yao Yao, so you could do that as well. That's fine. I hope you guys enjoyed this bite-sized build for Nilou. Check back for more. I'm going to be doing these as the banners appear, just to talk a little bit about these units. All right, bye.